All right, Nick, who's your favorite mid-range play? Talking to a guy between 5 and 7,500.
I think this guy was talked about already on the show. I could be wrong, but Kevin Love tonight. I think
Oh,
that's a pretty
yeah.
good pick. Yeah.
Someone
Oh,
sneezed
that's
his
a-
name.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird, but he's at 6.9K tonight going up against Charlotte. We talked about before with Evan Mobley. Anytime that you have a bigs going up against Charlotte, any quality bigs, you got to be considering them. And honestly, I like Kevin Love more than I like Evan Mobley tonight because of the value. And they've been, Kevin Love's been producing 40 plus DK fantasy points in 4 of his last 5 outings. The one hiccup came against Detroit when he only played 19 minutes. So this is a guy who's putting up better, similar numbers to Mobley right now in terms of fantasy production. So I'd rather roll with him if I'm going to roll with one of the two. And then Marcus Smart's another guy I like going up against Detroit on the second leg of a back-to-back at 5.7K. And then Patty Mills, if James Harden doesn't play at 5.6K. He's not on the injury report right now, but we know that things pop up with him last minute. So if he does pop up, Patty Mills is another guy.
Garion, are you going to roll with your boy, Kevin Love, here?
Well, I mean, we've already talked so much about him.
Sure.
Probably go a different direction here for the Peoples. I mean, we've talked a lot about this Bulls game, and I think we've mentioned guys we think might not play. One guy I can assure you who will play is Ayo Dosunmu, who just never leaves the court for the Bulls. And it's really important to realize that, we're talking about, well, will DeRozan play? Will Levine play? Who steps up? The Bulls don't have a bench already. I mean, this is a team that is playing like Matt Thomas 10 minutes a night because they just have to. So if Levine's not there, if DeRozan's not there, if both aren't there, Dosunmu is already leading the team, averaging 38 minutes per game across his last 11 contests. He's not a huge scorer, but he contributes in every category. And I think he would have to take on more of a shot burden if one or two of those guys are not playing. So at $5,600, especially in a tier where, depending on what happens with the Spurs, I think Derek White could be a really, really popular play just because the Rockets are such an enticing matchup. But Dosunmu is just going to have a level of volume that I don't think a lot of the assets within this particular price range are going to have them.
All right, Matt, who are you rolling with in this price range?
I'll go with someone else, but I do just want to mention Dosunmu could potentially be really, really good now because Kobe White is now questionable as of 3 minutes ago. So yeah, that's going to help a lot too, especially if Levine is out, who is also questionable. I'll switch to a different team though, because we've spent a lot of time on the Bulls. The Utah Jazz are getting Donovan Mitchell back tonight, but they still don't have Rudy Gobert. So Hassan Whiteside at $6,400. I think this is a pretty good matchup against the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets defense, I think, is a little below average at this point. It's kind of hard to say with their players changing so often. Kyrie Irving only playing in half the games, and their defense has gotten worse without Kevin Durant. But Whiteside should be able to get the minutes, assuming he's out there. He's listed questionable too. So part of the reason I like this play is because we may not find out that Whiteside is going to go until well after lock. This is a 9 o'clock game. So the ownership is going to be low if Whiteside ends up being ruled in much later, because most people will be a little bit scared off by that with him being questionable. So this price, I think, is still a little bit too low for Whiteside, and he's someone who definitely can go for a big points and rebounds game, block shots and everything. And the Jazz have been losing a lot, and I think if he's healthy, they probably do want to play him a lot. So this could be a lot of upside for him.